Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. What's happening, y'all? I'm your host today for Game Point, Uncle Tux. We're here, we gotta talk some sports today, man. So I decided to jump in a little bit. Usually I'm pretty much behind the scenes with my partner Damo. We're here live on our network. We welcome y'all today. To my left, I have my man. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Big J,
Any announcements?
sports aficionado, just overall sports knowledge guy. You'll know on this show who really knows sports here coming up. So I don't really have to say it.
It won't be this guy.
It will be this guy.
To my right, special guest we got in the building.
Yo, I'm Tremaine, Chef Buddha, owner of Buddha's Barbecue and Soul Food. I'm also an 8th grade math teacher at Global Village Academy in Aurora. I'm not a sports expert, so I'm not going to claim that title, but I'm here to just give my insight.
You probably just know just as much as this guy. You probably know just as much as this guy.
Which is 10 times more than he knows.
Which is nada. Which probably means that it's 20 times more than this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up? It's your boy, Extra Press. Yeah, I'm definitely going to prove all of them wrong, like I always do. I actually bought a computer today, so I have high-speed connection to my stats and anything I need, so there's definitely no losing this time.
You just telling me it's
Facts, yeah.
So you're going to lose your argument in high speed.
Every time we argue, it's never about opinion. It's never about facts. It's always about opinion.
No, we're speaking facts. And one fact we did just finish, we're picking Michael Vick over Cam Newton. Fuck the stats.
Oh, all right,
so check it. So
easily.
Forget the stats. I don't care what everybody's saying, okay? Forget the stats.
Easily.
Okay? Right?
Cut it out.
Don't go over their heads to those stats either, please.
You can go to stats.
Please.
Stats don't tell the story about Michael Vick.
We don't care about the stats.
No, we just went through this, big.
When you're talking about Vick, okay? We don't
he's
need
at
that.
it again.
All right? So check it.
There's no way you can be considered a great player if you make common mistakes. Okay? That is that right there.
Cam
that is
doesn't
that.
make
No,
common
I'm
mistakes.
talking
That's what we're doing?
Okay, I'm talking about
That's what
mistakes.
we're
I'm
doing?
talking about there's no way you're gonna tell me that Vic is this amazing player
He's better than Cam
cannot
Newton.
when his love of the game cannot triumph his off-field issues.
Oh my God.
That's that.
Cam
That's
shots in the
that.
junior midsection.
And then dresses in a blouse and a church hat.
And
You
here we
don't think
go.
that's a mistake?
We never talk about the actual
overthrows
stats. Now we
receivers.
never talk about how
Overthrows his receivers.
how Cam Newton has over 3,000 more yards than Michael Vick and still playing. Still playing.
At what? For how many years did he have left? Right. He went to jail for what, 2 years?
Y'all, again, we're talking about him going to jail.
Listen, we're not finna do this. We're not finna do this. You're outnumbered, Ed. We're not finna do this.
His cousin who snitched him.
Michael Vick
cousin who
is better
snitched.
than Cam Newton. Period. Point.
His cousin who snitched him. That's who.
He said because
But we're gonna dive into it just because of the climate of what's going on. I mean, everybody knows what's going on, due from the pandemic to, the biggest civil rights movement in history, all pretty much going on at the same damn time, and a bunch of other shit too, which is crazy. There's kangaroos running around in Aurora, Colorado.
Have they caught that one again?
No.
There's a kangaroo.
There's a kangaroo, a wallaby, bro. From Lake Spur Farm, 25 miles away from here, is actually running around in Aurora. I want to buy it if y'all catch it. I always wanted a kangaroo, bro, so I can shoot baskets in his pocket.
where you get that from?
If you try to grab that wallaby, you're gonna I guarantee you're gonna be injured. So let me know so we come visit your ass.
Did y'all see the video with the monkey? The lady who's selling the monkey though?
No.
Because they opened the zoo up in Chicago. So they broke open the zoo in Chicago. Animals is out running. There's a lady, I gotta show y'all the video, nigga. So she got this monkey, and she holding this monkey like in a blanket, right? But it's a fucking monkey, number one. Number two, you could tell she living the jets. There's about 15 motherfuckers in the house. Mama in there. The baby's over there on the floor. Hold on, the monkey is whooping this lady's ass. This monkey is smacking the shit out of her. Nigga, back. She trying to put a bottle. This monkey is biting her, jumping on. The mama's trying to, and she keeps trying to treat it, bouncing. You know how you bounce a baby on the knee? It's a whole monkey. Nigga, the mama's in the back like, give the baby to me. The monkey smacking the shit out the mama. Y'all gotta see the video. I'm gonna post the video. That shit is hilarious.
That's ridiculous.
But let's get to it. Check it, right? There's a lot of crazy shit going on. It's 2020, all right? You know what I mean? Sports has been shut down for quite some time. So now with, due to the pandemic, and it had talks about actually opening back up. There was real plans on, when we'll get back to playing NBA games. The NBA was broke up right before playoffs, right before championship time, right before LeBron's trying to win another championship, and everybody's trying to stop him, right? So now we're at a point where they're trying to bring it back. They came up with a great plan. I thought it was a great. The bubble. The bubble. I thought the bubble was a great plan. Was to put everybody in the bubble on Disney's campus right there in Florida, Orlando, or whatever, right? And you stay there. I mean, you could do whatever you want in Disney, man. But
the families weren't allowed to be with the players for 3 months.
Families mostly are not allowed to be with the players, bro.
They can travel on the road, which wouldn't bother me. The only thing that realistically, if you look at that situation, is you're going to have people breaking the rules. You're going to have people going in and out of that bubble and
sneaking in hookers,
contracting COVID, and then it's going to spread rampant, and then we're going to be
damn well they sneaking in some hookers.
I mean, every time there's a Super Bowl in Florida, somebody gets has some charges for solicitation of prostitution. So there must be some badass hookers in Florida.
I got the schedule for like the actual thing. It starts June 15th. Players travel outside the U.S. to return to team markets. June 22nd, all other players return to team markets. And then June 23rd, head coaches can begin working with players in voluntary workouts. July 7th, teams begin arriving in Florida. July 9th through 29th is when training camp in Florida with 3 scrimmages per team. And then July 30th, seeding games begin. So this is when those 8 games begin. Although there's 8 games per team, this is when those games begin. August 17th, playoffs begin. August 30th, friendly and guest of teams may arrive. And then September 30th is the target NBA Finals day.
So they're in there roughly from July until September before 2 months. 2 months.
And if you go to the playoffs, go to the finals, you're into October. But
the family comes in, you said September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Families are able to,
August 30th.
Oh, quit bitching, man. That's a fucking month.
A month. I was going to say,
come on. What happens to 2021 season? Because if it's over in...
They start what, December?
They usually start about July.
Yeah,
December.
And it's honestly weird how they have the whole, like, how everything is just running. Like, you were talking about it earlier, like, free agency is different. Like, it's 2 free agency signings now. I'm not signing, but 2 free agency periods. There's one in 2020, like, during this period, and then there's one right before the season starts. So, I don't know if it's before the season starts or if it's like within that free agency period.
Well, I honestly, if the NBA doesn't get it together, I don't think anybody does. You know what I'm saying? Because baseball is really far apart.
But they're also apart because of other reasons too.
Hockey's gonna play. Baseball far apart because of money.
They're saying that they're putting like PR. They're gonna get it together. We all know that MLB's gonna get it together.
Hold on, it's way it's ugly, bro.
They're gonna get it together.
It's ugly.
They're gonna get it.
You're talking about on average, players are losing 62.5% of their salaries.
Right.
And the players that are making more money lose even more.
And
so
now for the last contract, right?
You're talking about a player like, look, I'll give you an example. Nolan Arenado from the Rockies has a $200 million contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he would basically, if they played this year, he would basically make $7 million.
Right.
And that out of, his contract? No, that's not okay.
Isn't that crazy?
$7 million.
Isn't that crazy?
He'll be making less than a lot of players.
But he'd be making more than a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just like, geez, could you imagine that being like poverty? Somebody say, I feel bad for you and shit.
How am I going to get by on $7 million? How am I going to get by on this $7 million?
What is one to do? Right.
I gotta go play baseball.
Right.
Here's the MLBPA's proposals though. So they got a 70-game season from July 19th through September 30th. So they compete with NBA again. Full pro-rated pay. Spring training to begin June 26th to 28th. Expanded playoffs to 16 teams in the 2020 season and the 21 seasons. Minimum pool for player shares in 2020 based on rounds, players. played. $50 million if full playoff is staged. 50-50 split if incremental TV revenues for any additional postseason game in 21. So that I guess that goes into the whole like getting paid and stuff.
And you're talking, this is still NBA, right?
Huh?
MLB.
This is MLB.
This MLB?
Yeah.
And they denied it though.
Yeah. No. Well, let me see.
Didn't they?
The players?
No,
Are
the players. I think.
Yeah.
I think the players just rejected that one.
Yeah. No, this was this is the MLB PAs. So this was
Players Association.
Yeah. So
so that's what that's their counter.
This is what they wanted. Salary advance forgiveness for all players.
Hold on, they said 50% of TV revenue.
And full prorated pay. And
Proration too.
So Nolan Arenado, who his salary is probably what per year is probably 50 million, something like that. It's crazy, right? He's gonna get $50 million for playing how many games?
70. So
no, there's no way.
2 months.
There's no way.
$7 million in 2 months is crazy.
See, the thing is with baseball, what baseball has the benefit of is that you have 162 games. You have 81 road and 81 home.
Right.
So owners are able to come up. You know what I'm saying, with parking and concessions and all that. But since you're only like 70 games, and you're gonna play them in one place in Arizona, so you're not gonna have any home revenue or any of that shit.
Yeah.
That's tough, right?
They make so much money off of their stadiums and concessions and all of those types of things that it's really, really, really gonna be hard to get this deal together.
And $10 million for social justice and 2 initiatives. $50 million to be transferred from joint
10 million
funds.
is the going rate, isn't it, for social justice?
Yeah.
Everybody, Jordan put up 10 million a year.
Per year. I'm like, but where's the money gonna go?
That's the scary thing.
Social justice.
No, did you hold on?
That's what I'm saying. Social justice.
That's like we're donating
Check this out.
million to black.
Check out how gangster this is. One man runs, and shout out to you too, brother. I forget your name, bro. He runs the Black Lives Matter Foundation, which has no affiliation
With Black Lives Matter?
with the actual BLM Foundation. During this time, he's made millions in donations over the last couple of months. Millions. You don't have to return it because his cause is this is what's fucked up though. The Black Lives Matter Foundation is to bring black people and police closer together. Ain't that a bitch? That is not a shot in the fucking.
I don't look.
Where are you
I think.
that at?
Man.
I think
Wait, I don't know, man. I don't know,
eventually,
man. I don't know.
there are going to be more black cops on the force from these communities, so you'll have a better relationship with.
But I feel like my experience with black cops sometimes they were worse than that.
Well, a lot of these cops now come from these areas, though.
Yeah, I've never.
Like even in Atlanta, like you go to Atlanta, you ask some of them people out there, like, what's the black cop? The black cops worse out there than some of the white cops.
That's real shit though. Just period. It's more than black or white cop. It's actually cops. It's the protection of blue, protection of the badge. There's bad cops, but the good cops don't say anything. They're masked by a code and so on and so forth. They get away with so much shit and put shit and ruin so many lives, planting drugs and false arrests and false no-knocks and things of that nature. I personally don't think they should get closer. I think they need a whole reform, a whole psychological reform. Then we decide, after they go through an approval process, if you are allowed to actually police our neighborhood.
Right.
It's crazy as hell.
I think we need to revamp the whole thing too, though.
Real shit, man.
That's what I was saying. Revamp. And that's to go back to your question. We're talking about joining politics and joining anything. I don't feel like you can't join something if it's broken already. And like trying to fix it from the inside, just like you're saying, like it's too systematic. It's like it's always in the layer upon another layer upon another layer upon another layer.
Well, I mean, politics and sports are starting to, the lines are starting to be blurred again.
Blurred. Yeah.
And so when you start talking about police reform and you start having players be vocal about it, and now that's going to be the going thing. Not only are you going to have LeBron speaking about it, but I mean, look how many players right now are trying to do something, and not just on a professional level. You have players at major universities who are throwing rallies in terms of Black Lives Matter.
Mikey Williams, the 13-year-old kid. No, not 13-year-old, the freshman.
Right. I mean, this is a kid who understands his power.
Yeah.
So when he puts out there that he might attend a HBCU, every coach in the country right now is like, what do I do to get him here?
Right. That's huge. Number one, I hope he does. I really do.
I think if he does,
you'll
have a lot of black,
bro.
You'll have a lot of black stars. I mean, in all sports, baseball, football, and basketball, going to HBCU.
His ranking dropped ever since announcing that. By the way.
Yeah, I don't doubt that though. That's America though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's something I definitely do not. That
just think, if you have a lot of players, or you have players like that kid, and they all end up going to Howard or whatever.
NCAT.
And you have him, and you have like 3 more who are top recruits, top blue chips, and they're gonna go to that historically black college, and they're gonna go compete for a national championship. But I mean, it's just
I still think because the NCAA or NCAA is what it is. I still think they'll figure out a way to delegitimize the competition that the kids are playing at the HBCUs as opposed to what they would be playing if they go to Alabama or something else, regardless if you're a 5-star athlete coming out of high school.
I look at it like this. I mean, you have to
go to these schools.
You're right. Because
to show me that you're NFL ready.
The NCAA is selling its Power 5 conferences. So the SEC, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the ACC, those are the power conferences. The Mountain West, those are Mountain West is not a power conference. Pac-12.
It's Pac-12, SEC, Big 12, Big 10.
There's Big 12.
Big 10, SEC, ACC.
Big 12.
You got the internet right.
You talking about
But the point is.
So they sell the conferences, and I do definitely agree with what you're saying. But I think, and we can look at. We can go all the way back to the Fab Five, and what they accomplished at Michigan. Now that's Michigan. That's a Power 5 school. Now, do we think if we have 5 freshmen that are just as talented that go to Howard, are we gonna see that same thing?
If we had the 5 top.
I think they'll go through their league. I think they'll go through their
I think they can do some damage.
I think they'll go through their league, but when you get to the NCAA tournament, have you played the competition, a strong enough competition to get you ready for those games?
I'll tell you what though, what they will get is the competition.
Right.
The reason being is because they're gonna be warranted and get all of the TV contracts. The TV contracts will follow the talent. And if and a story like having some of the top recruits go to the HBCUs, TV contracts going to flip upside down. And that right there alone is going to get them the competition that they're going to need to play.
It's different for our HBCU kids because most of them aren't top athletes and don't get recruited by top colleges. Right. But the ones that do get drafted, really have made an impact in that league. So I mean, look at Steve McNair, look at Jerry Rice. Players like that who came from Steve McNair came from Alcorn State. Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State. But they were so much better than any of those players in HBCUs that they got to look. Yeah. See, nowadays you have players coming from HBCUs anyway now. Like that's where people are going to look for talent. Right now. So I think going to an HBCU, especially in basketball. I mean, football is totally different because you can't compete for a national championship at an HBCU. In basketball, you can because you play those teams. But in football, the competition is different.
It's in numbers with football, though. Like,
but I mean, so the recruits start going there now. Then it's a change. That's what I'm saying.
You have to change the structure because the enrollment and everything. Because HBCUs are smaller schools. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're smaller schools, so they're like NAIA schools.
Naturally, right. You naturally just off. And football, as we know, it's a numbers, especially in college, it's a numbers game. If you have more people, then you're naturally more inclined to do that.
And the thing about HBCUs is you're going to have to, for them to compete in football, you're going to have to find stadiums and places for them to compete that have larger attendances.
I think this is the perfect climate for any player, any recruit that wants to go to like anywhere in the United States. Just because of the way that you can market yourself. And we've seen that with LaMelo Ball. We've seen that with the whole Ball family and how...
I hate that.
you don't have to necessarily you don't
I agree with it, though,
don't
but
necessarily
they're
have to go to
terrible.
college to go to the pros. You can do a fucking fiasco of like what LeVar did and still have.
Well, let me ask this question.
chances to make the pros.
Is the right thing.
Is this
Right.
the
I
perfect
can't say it was the
time?
right way, but
Is
it's
this
the right thing.
Is this the perfect time to be a black person in this country? Not just athlete, but person.
I want to say stuff. I don't know about perfect time. I don't know if there's a perfect time. I don't know. I don't know.
Because we've never had anything comparatively like we have right now. Where they're changing laws for us
Right.
as we speak.
But is that perfect?
As we
shouldn't
speak,
be already getting it.
Hold on. I mean, we've never had it.
Right.
We've never had it.
Right.
So if we're having it now, is this the best time for us right now? We've never had what they're. And see, the thing is, I'm guarded because they're giving us all these things. And I mean, how long did they tell us it took to change laws?
I hate
and
that
now
shit.
laws are just
Giving
changing
us-
overnight.
I hate that.
And they're giving us, right?
No, I hate the term that they're giving it to us.
Because that's exactly what it is.
Because
And
of the
I hate the
situation.
term. I hate the term too. But that's exactly what it is.
I will say
we still don't control anything.
And that's the thing. Like,
I think it's too early though.
It is.
hey,
We haven't even
wanna
seen
hear
the
that.
changes
They're
in the
taking down
impact.
Confederate statues.
Yeah.
They're changing this, changing that, but we're still in the same place that we were when they had the statues.
It's just cosmetic,
Hold on, and I
bro.
think you made a good point on Facebook
Cosmetic,
the other day, and I was
bro.
like, damn, okay. So why aren't we changing George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or these schools' names? Because they own slaves too.
George Washington actually put in a ballot to change his name. I heard to just George,
Yeah, which is crazy.
which is
Still-
weird.
still-
Yeah, which
But
is
I
weird.
get it. But I get it. I understand. Jeez, man.
They own slaves.
Yeah.
Lincoln wasn't the great advancer.
These changes, are they really considered changes that will impact my black plight? Because I'm walking down fucking Black Matters Drive, which I fucking hate. I hate that fucking pandering and that fucking makeup bullshit. I swear I hope I don't have to go on fucking Black Matters Drive.
What do you mean that makeup?
I hate it, bruh.
Is that like?
Come on, man.
Is that like
Put a wig on a pig, man. Don't
on a
change shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
You see the transient population right at the tip of it.
Oh man, I've been down there. It's just
Just
crazy.
don't understand it, man.
I
feel
hate
like
that, bro. I hate it.
There's just a haze of COVID in the air down there.
Oh man, you're right. Just all and demons.
There's COVID out here.
Real shit. But yeah, I'm not with all the makeup. I'm not with all the cosmetic surgery. None of that to me really changes. For
That's a
example, if
great
you're talking
point.
about a person, you know what I mean, just because they change their clothes doesn't change their way of thinking and their heart. There has to be a real therapy session, some unlearning and reprogramming within white folks as well as black folks, just as important as well. Because we're all programmed. We're all taught this bullshit. We're all conditioned under the bullshit. Even white folks is conditioned under the bullshit. We're just talking real facts.
Yeah.
So there's a process that has to be done. All this shit talking about Black Lives Matter and now everything changes. Listen, look how black I am. That shit ain't nowhere with me, nigga.
That ain't changing.
Period. I still get bags clutched because I walk in the room.
Well, you know what? I'm
You
gonna
know
be
what I'm
honest.
saying?
I gotta be honest. White people have totally been different lately.
Oh, I know. They're not
I was somewhere where there was just nothing but white people, and I was sitting there, and like 89 to 90% of the white people literally walked by, turned, stopped, greeted me, tried to start some little bullshit conversation. I mean, it was fascinating.
Right.
Like I'm sitting, women, men, kids, like just hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? What? Hey, it's hot out here, right? Yeah. Like I mean, it was just.
No, I get it.
It was like I was sat.
I
I
think
sat
the
there.
thing is like it's two of them though. It's like you got those type, and then you got like the people that are like outraged by seeing all this shit, and then you start to see like the closeted racists that are starting to come out and really show themselves, really be more prominent. Like you starting to see more people, blue lives matter, all lives matter. And then you start seeing some of your white friends starting to make more jokes or more statements that just didn't make sense. Like why are you saying that? So I mean, I don't know.
Obviously, I was just seeing one, and it was.
Listen, I had a conversation
it was
this morning. I'm sitting on my porch. I actually went on my porch because I just needed some air. So I didn't feel like hearing no bullshit. Took my blunt, sat outside in the morning this morning, nice breeze, sitting out there smoking. And a neighbor who I've never talked to, I've lived in the same spot for multiple years, okay? 2 doors down, right? Starts conversation with me. And to me, automatically, I'm agitated because I know you're just starting conversation with me because it's the climate and our family is hugely Afrocentric and hugely out there with, with our black pride, okay? And he's just like, yeah, man, air conditioning and blah, blah, blah. And the situation, I don't want to, damn it, I gave him nothing but cold shoulder to be 1,000 with you. Number one, I just didn't feel like hearing the bullshit. Number two, why the fuck are you fucking talking to me now? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not with it, bro. I'm not with all the fake, phony shit. Some people I have been, I get it. Hey, hi, cordial, yes. Yeah,
I don't even know what to do with it.
But some people, they're not going to get it different. They're not going to get a change out of me is what I'm saying, based upon because they just want to all of a sudden say, hi, I've been here for fucking years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now you want to say hi?
I just think it's real fascinating that these motherfuckers now break their backs to speak.
Right now. So what happens if, let's say, 2-3 years from now, and it's still the same thing? I wouldn't say like I wouldn't say more or less pandering, but we're starting to see more change.
That's change. If you're talking about 3 years from now, there's some change. That change has set in.
So if it's 2-3 years from now, and we're still dealing with the same things that we're dealing with right now, we haven't handled this situation.
No, he's talking about the
progress.
No, I don't want to say progress yet.
Pandering.
He's talking about the change in the white folks.
To me,
if white folks are still acting like just 3 years
to me, where we're at right now, where they're starting to do things and change things, we got to keep going. We got to step on the gas and go even further because now we got their attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now we need to get everything that we want. And see, the problem is with us is that there are so many different factions of us, right? Yeah, there's Black Lives Matter, there's the NAACP, there's this group, there's that group. And in this case, and normally we don't need one monolithic, and we still don't, but we need to all of us need to get together. Yeah. All of our different factions and groups, and we need to talk about what our communities need the most and go from there. And not everybody's gonna get what they want. Some blacks up north ain't gonna get what they want. Blacks down south ain't gonna get what they want. Us here, but we need to make concessions and get one general bill or one general policy that fits all black people in this country.
Can I? Let me be the bad guy in this though.
You're already the bad guy.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen, right? Unless there's a process. Because us as a black community, number one, the reason why we don't do that now, to me, I believe, has less to do with white folks than it does have to do with our own folks. Okay?
So you think we're not as close as we need to be, or can be, but it's because of us and not them?
Yeah, and the conditioning. Now, the situation forced us to do so because I believe this. Hispanic culture, Hispanic folks that came over here with their culture, they're still able to practice their beliefs and their cultural beliefs and how they live, right? Same thing with Africans from directly that come here from Africa. Same thing as Native Americans and Asians, right? They still culturally practice where they're rooted from. We as black folks, African Americans, do not. Right. So what I'm saying is this: when it's time for us to come together and practice those things, like when we come together and trust each other and as a village, those are not rooted in us to work things out.
They're not rooted in us.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not rooted in us, but because when we tried to when we got off that boat, everything from our culture was left over there.
Exactly.
And they made sure that they beat the rest of it out of us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
We don't really have that.
We don't have that even
the
rooted.
Asians have, that the Hispanics have. Like Hispanics brought all of their things from Mexico. From the Mexican Hispanics anyway. The Asians, if you ever been to Chinatown anywhere, it's like little Saigon or little China or wherever you want to talk about. Yeah, so I mean, it's I mean, we don't have that unity.
We don't have that.
Community. No.
So in order for us to get, just to cap the point, in order for us to get what you're saying is all the groups come together, we gotta unlearn the bullshit. We gotta learn, it's crazy. We gotta take time to learn how to trust each other first before we even putting our bread together.
You're right.
Because there's gonna be some motherfuckers that's gonna be always, trust me, bro.
You can say that black people are coming together and they're talking about issues, but with like the Revolt Summit, you know, we need to talk about that. Do you think we need more things on the line of that, or we're talking about something completely aside on like a completely different level as like, what are the steps behind getting getting the most important black people, the ones that can create a change, that create a ripple effect between all classes of black people? Like where do you start at? Like where do you start out with that?
That's a tough one, right? Because we're talking about, let's say, nationwide or worldwide, right?
Well, let's say nationwide. We don't have worldwide.
Well, I mean, even nationwide, that's a tough one, right? However, what gives me hope though is the fact that we just tried something like this. It was me, DJ K-Tone, DJ Squizzy, right? No flyer. We just kind of personally invited some real core folks from all walks of life. The top, from dope dealers, street dudes, hoods, gangbangers, to real estate agents, moguls, business owners, so on and so forth, right? And our motto was, let's just all come together, no egos, no agendas, and no phones. So it's not a photo op, it's not a, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing that you're coming to table with, whatever, right? And it was scary to think that we just did this, right? But it was dope to see what happened. Filled up the spot, okay? We ended up having a private spot, private engagement to let us go there. And everybody was there. And it was so dope to see even the street dudes with the politicians playing dominoes, having drinks, or, you know, folks shooting the shit over there with the real estate agents, and they over there with the rappers, and the DJs is over here with the Broncos, and you know what I'm saying, all that type of shit, all in one room without somebody saying, all right, now we got to do this. Y'all breaking this group. Let's find out what you're doing. Let's write on the board what we can do together because we're all here. And the reason why I think there was success in it is because we were learning to love each other. Like, this is a tough time for all of us, no matter what level you are as a black person. You know what I'm saying? I think this is really hard to unpack what we're going through right now. And it was really dope to have us. Some folks called it a healing circle. I don't like to say that because I'm still trying to be macho. But I'll say this, it was a recharging session. It was a session where a bunch of brothers who actually are fighting for what they believe in and fighting this world were able to come in, recharge with each other, and then go out and kick this world's ass.
I don't even think it's recharging. I think it's you're inviting people into a space that have, for the most part, most of their lives, been taught not to trust each other, not to like each other, not to build with each other, and that's their plan, you know, to bring dissension into our communities and separate us.
True.
Because if you leave us alone, I mean, it's been proven when we'll thrive, and I think you know, going forward right now, and when you said something earlier, this is not just a national thing. This is a legit world thing right now, because not only is it, you know, highlighted here in America, racism, but there's racism all over this world when it comes to us. I mean, bottom line, we talk about it in China. We talk about it all over. You know, we talk about
Germany, New Zealand.
Let's talk about. So this is a sports show. Let's talk about the English Premier League or some of those soccer leagues over there, where, you know, some of the well-known black players are throwing bananas on the field. They're calling them monkeys. They're calling them niggas. You know, nigga is an American term. Right. You know what I'm saying? So our racism has kind of spread across the globe, and it may be the standard for other motherfuckers to follow. You know what I'm saying? Other people who want to be racist. I mean, the new skinheads in Germany.
Well, that is a crazy, you know, fucking concept.
What they're doing is look what they do. They're using American concepts. Or how Americans do skinhead shit over here. I think, you know, everybody looks at us for whatever, be it sports, be it socially, be it fashion, be it whatever. And racists are no different. We're gonna use some good old fashioned American racism, and we're gonna use your means, because to be honest, they've really been effective. You know what I'm saying? They really have been effective, and other people in the world are looking at this like, how have you kept these people down for 400 years when we're struggling with making them equal here? They're kind of taking their equality. How have you kept these people down for 400 years? And people are looking at America saying, "Damn, you've done it." And now it's time. And now what you're seeing is all in all these countries, you're seeing these protests, and they're going to the American embassy and saying, "Hey, man, we've been watching niggas get killed in the streets for all these years, and they're tired of it, and we're tired of watching it. Y'all need to get y'all shit together, because the America we know, that all of us here have grown up in and raised kids in and started businesses in and nonprofits in, has never lived up to what its Constitution states, and that's all men are created equal. Not one day has America lived up to that. And it's time for us to get to that, get them to do that. And it's time to make them do that, like right now. Like, and the whole world is behind us. So we got to take advantage of that.
Which is why I think it's important as a community, we pay attention to who we put in the spotlight and who we have being that voice for us, because if the wrong person is on the mic saying this is what we need as black people, this is what we need to do to move forward. And for instance, like the Stapleton name removal, whatnot, I think it's a good idea. We know the history behind the name, but how much access is that going to get us to that community by changing the name? By changing the name, how many black families are going to be able to now own homes?
Right.
Or families of color now going to be able to own homes in that community? So I feel like, some of the fights that we're fighting is purposeful, but we know that the real change is going to have to come from a policy level.
Right.
And how can we really make that fight if people are talking about the wrong SHIT?
Well, we'll go to Stapleton, because I think that's a great point. When you have someone who looks like us, but doesn't reflect our core values and goals. Some dude like Chris Herndon, who it's okay for him to live in a development that is named after a KKK member, and you feel like it, so other white people see that and say, "Hey, this black dude is really talking some good stuff, man. He's really not worried about this. We're talking about now." So we still have them kind of dudes that we got to deal with. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that we have to do in our community for us, and I don't really think it's bad in other communities. I mean, to be honest, I don't really think you have too many Chris Herndons in the Asian community or the Hispanic community. You'll have more in the Hispanic now, because they're able to bot now too. But for the most part, the white man comes in and finds a brother and buys them off, and that's his message board. You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
No, go ahead.
I kind of disagree, man. I feel like every community has a person that can be influenced by the wrong people. Now, how you deal as a community, how you deal with that person is another thing. So with Chris Herndon, we know that regardless of his political affiliation, what he says publicly, who he votes for, any of that, he's still a black man at the end of the day. We know if he were to get gunned down in the street by the police, all of his affiliations and what he said about Stapleton wouldn't matter, because we'll be fighting and protesting against the police that he killed a black man. So I think our concept of loving one another needs to change, and understand that the person that you're looking at is more than just a figure or an object standing in front of you. That's a life. And regardless of how you feel individually, emotionally, how mad you are, how much you dislike that person, that's still somebody's son, somebody's brother, uncle, etc. So I think as human beings, we have to get to a point to where we see people past just the physical appearance. You have to see them as if they're your brother or if they're your relative, in my opinion.
Could I ask y'all a question? Because without, let me not make it long. Should we fight for, because I don't believe so much as fighting within a system when the system's not built to work in our favor, right? I know that you could make changes within the system, however, they still got to be within this system, okay? And with that being said, should the focus in the fight for black folks be back for segregation, in a sense? Should we fight? Should we focus on back?
I don't think that would happen, because I think...
Not if it would, should.
Shit. No.
I don't think it's productive to...
No. It shouldn't.
What we want to see in the long run. Like, yeah, it makes sense because they haven't shown a reason as to why we should, and I hate using assimilate because it's such a bad word, but why we should assimilate into their culture when time and time again they've shown us that we're not loved the same way that some of us.
Funny though, when you talk about assimilation, is that they want us to assimilate to them, but all they've done is assimilate to us. They stole our hairstyles, they steal our clothes, they steal.
So why don't y'all think
they
it'll
try to
work?
assimilate?
Why wouldn't you push for segregation?
Segregation won't work. Segregation won't work.
Wait. But my thought. Okay, you're right. It might not. Right. The reason why I want to be the antithesis of that is saying that. I mean, if it did sustain. Okay.
For segregation to work.
Wait. Hear me out.
It's gonna have to be.
Say if it did sustain. Where we were. Black doctors, black lawyers, dentists, shoesmiths, all of that within these communities. And sustained and grown within that community where we would be today.
Well, I think you're making a great point when you talk about black doctors, black lawyers, black...
When your tooth hurt, you went to a black dentist.
Workers,
when you needed shoes, you went to a black shoesmith.
Cobblers, all that.
All of that.
But the one thing that it's going to take for our community to be successful on its own is banking, and it's purposefully, in my opinion, that we don't have a lot of black banks.
But we do have black banks.
We're starting to have black banks.
We have. The point that I'm saying is, should we be concentrating our energy? There's a lot of concentration right now going and supporting these cosmetic changes to this system. Okay, changing the shoes on the motherfucking body. The hairstyle on the body is not changing the heart.
None of that. We need to change this system.
The system needs a new body if we're saying that.
We need to unplug this system and say, hey, we need a new model. And this new model that comes in, we plug in and we program it ourselves.
Is the new model, so you're saying the new model the new model will be better integrated?
The new model will be what America is supposed to, America's principles.
Okay.
All men are created equal, fairness, equal rights for everybody. That's what the new America needs to look like. Because the old America never did for us. It was great for white people, but for everybody else, it wasn't like that.
You think we can get white folks to change their system?
In the Constitution, you talk about black people and Indian or natives being mentioned, but they didn't even recognize other people of color, and that's in the Constitution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
you think they're going to change that? It works perfectly for them.
I think
it works perfectly for them. Why would they change it, bro?
They have to, because we can't take them seriously if they don't. Because that document was, and we're talking about these founding fathers. Is a skewed document because it was based upon the ideas and principles of slave owners. I mean,
we can't create our own document.
It needs to be a new document.
Can we create our own document?
New document. It does need a new document. Yeah.
It needs to be a new document
because when it was created, we were 3/5
of a man,
of a person, of a population. It has to be.
When it was created, shit, it's still that active now.
Right.
And no other people, and I love my brown people. And I love my
That's right.
But no one else has given up this country. No one has given what we've given to this country in terms of lives lost, blood spilled, freedom taken. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about from slavery to new Jim Crow to the new prison to pipeline prison pipeline to school. You know what I'm saying? We've given up a lot of different things just to scratch out barely an existence in this country. We haven't been allowed to thrive as a people. Right. The ones that thrive are our athletes, right? The LeBrons and
because why?
Because they help other big white companies
make money.
Mm-hmm. So this is to bold the point a little bit. I mean, at this point, I really think if we don't get some type of reparations from what we've been through as a people, I think separation should be our next move.
Reparation or separation? Okay, so separation. Okay, where do we go? Where do we separate to? Are we going to force them to give us
separation? To me, separation is more of the thought of going to Bo's point. Okay, well, since you guys aren't going to respect us and love us for who we are, then we'll take over this community and put doctors in this community, grocery stores, and we'll only spend money here. But that takes a different train of thought.
And I agree with that. And so let's do that, right? When we do that, we're going to have a lot of Tulsas all over this country because you're going to have a lot of. But this is going to have a lot of.
This is how you test it, though. Right? How do we know that this isn't? It's not
the autonomous zone in Seattle.
No.
It's not all black. But
what I'm saying. Go ahead.
How do we know that this isn't cosmetic? Like we keep saying, everything that's going on is not cosmetic.
Right.
If we go and build Black Wall Street again and it gets burned down, we know that all of this that you're doing was for sure.
Or they don't allow it.
Well, I think it's a little bit different when Black Wall Street today has all cameras on them. Right. I think that's huge. I think it's different today when Black Wall Street involves radical athletes such as Kyrie's and folks, John Boyega, who's an actor, folks like that are actually 10 toes in the fight with us. I think if you build it, they will come. My thought is, why it seems such a easy thought. Why isn't it just like, you know what? Why are we trying to fix it? Man, and again, shout out to Brother Jeff, who I always point to saying that. Why are we fighting to fix a system that isn't broke?
It's not broke. It works fine for them. Fine. That's why we need a new system.
That's what I'm saying. Are we talking about a new integrated system?
No,
or a new system for us?
A new system, period. That for all of us. It has to be because we're all of us here. Because segregation, as much as I want to be in just a black part of town, black city, black state, it's never going to work.
We're not talking about though racist. I think it's a different segregation now. It's not
separate. Don't you mean separate? Just black, right?
Yeah, but we're also
like they got a Chinatown. Like, at least that's how I see it.
I can see that as well. But what I'm saying is this. No matter what it is, there is a difference in time period. I think there is a difference where there would be a respect level given to us if we was to build our own. I do believe that.
So I'm visualizing this, right? Mm-hmm. So we have...
Because we're not racist against them. It's not saying we can't talk and integrate.
Are we not racist against them?
No, what I'm saying is in this community...
But are we not racist against them?
No, we can't be.
You can't be. Yeah. No.
Oh, do we have
like biases, stereotypes, and all that types of shit? Yeah, absolutely. That's warranted. But what I'm saying is this though. We have ours doesn't mean that we can't deal with them. What I'm saying is I believe we need to build our own foundation to stand on, and we can have conversations face to face now because I have a foundation like you, and you have a foundation like me, and now we could talk this way.
I think you'll have a lot of people coming into the black part of town. You know what I'm saying? To the black part of town.
Of course. You mean in a bad way?
No, in a good town. In
a good way.
You know, you coming to the black part of town, and
those will be our suburbs.
And then you'll have so much pushback. You'll have so much pushback from the white people. I think they're dying.
Why do we care though, Jason? That's the point. Can we get to a point where we don't give a fuck about what these white folks is doing or caring about?
We can't get to that point until our numbers meet those because we don't have any political power.
We do.
No, we don't. We don't. Because let me tell you why we still don't. Let me tell you why we still don't have any political power. Let me tell you why. Because when it comes down to it, they can influence us in a way that we can't influence them. And this is what I mean. So when you talk about the voter suppression,
power of the people have
the power of the people when it
spoken
doesn't matter.
Today. Today's day and age.
Listen.
If we're using today's day and age, Right.
You had voter suppression tactics in Georgia and Wisconsin, and this was like 3 or 4 days ago.
Right.
This is today's day and age.
Right.
In today's day and age, you still are finding black people hanging from trees.
Right, because their system works.
Because today's day and age, I mean, we're talking about the climate, the George Floyd climate, where all these laws are being changed, and we talked about this last week. Are these just things that are meant to placate us? Because they're hold on, because they've told us over and over in this system, it takes time to change things.
True story.
It takes time to get laws on the books. But if what's happening now, these laws are being changed as we speak.
In their system, Jason.
Exactamundo. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna have a black system with all these colonists.
So okay, so then my question is this. Then. Because let's bring it back to sports then and really kind of mold this together in a sense, right? My question then is this. Could an all black funded NBA league work? Ran by the players, pushed by the players.
It couldn't be called the NBA.
We're talking about no shit, bro. That's what you're gonna bring up. But an all black NBA league ran by black folks. Can it work?
Would you enjoy watching an all-black NBA?
We're already watching an all-black NBA league, bro.
Don't you enjoy that white boy shooter? You know what I'm saying?
The J.J. Redick kid.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Do we enjoy that over KD or LeBron?
Or Ray Allen?
KD and LeBron is playing. We still need that white boy shooter.
No, we could take a little Hispanic
white boy
Nahara. We could take a Nahara.
Look.
Okay? We'll take a Jeremy Lin.
Look.
You dig? Come on now. So what I'm saying is that now we could take that. What I'm saying is if that could work, I believe it can work in America. What I'm saying is if we could build our own NBA based upon...
We won't be able to do anything until we can figure out our financial... I
don't even think...
I think we do.
I don't think we have the money.
I think our financial...
I don't even think we need to go as far as creating our own league. I just think the players need to start like some of them are utilizing your platform that you have to stand for what our community is going through.
In Colin Kaepernick's offense, I mean, you stand up and you get kicked out the league.
Yeah, but again, we're in a time to where we can test everything that they're saying. Now.
But you don't want to play with your money. Think about it.
But you got to be willing to. If you're not
why
willing
can't
to
we
sacrifice,
play with our money with us though?
With us, I mean,
Are we really that programmed that is so hard for us to say, you know what? I'm gonna build with you, and we're gonna make a utopia with us.
Let's look at.
Is it that hard?
Let's look at traditionally what we've done when we talk about those utopias that we've built.
Oh.
Let's start with BET.
Yeah.
Like we've done that shit. We've been there, done that. So I mean,
I got me taking my hat off.
if we're gonna talk about those kind of things, we gotta talk about legitimately.
Are you about to sit here? That's true, but don't try to bring up these also black utopias built within these systems.
We're still within the system.
We gotta build our own, bro.
That's what I've been saying. Because we had Black Entertainment TV.
I saw a video from Ghana saying we need to come home, so it looks like we need to just...
I saw a post that somebody said, we take our reparations. Robert F. Smith actually broke it down to $340,000 per African American, right?
Uh-huh.
And somebody posted, we need to take that $340,000 and we all leave this motherfucker. Everybody grab their shit and dip. Ooh, that's a kick in the nuts.
Oh, God.
I'm real. I was born here, and I don't do well with dogs,
bro.
I don't do well with wild animals.
All right, I'm gonna tear this whole motherfucking setup. I swear to God. I swear to God. This is the reason. Okay.
I was born here.
This is the reason.
So whatever needs to be fixed, we need to be fixed.
Y'all outrageous, man.
Shit.
Man, listen. Lagos, Nigeria, one of the biggest cities in the world. Bigger than New York.
Flies that big.
Okay. Rats this big in New York. Yeah. All right? Yeah. So pick your poison.
What about Akon City?
I see that being built too.
Yeah, and that's like...
I see that being built with his own currency.
And he secured the money to get it.
Yeah, $3 trillion or something, $6 trillion, something like that.
It's in motion now.
Like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's making his moves. I told you about investing that dollar and all thing right now. But yeah, so he definitely just secured his bread for the city. But what I'm saying is, buddy, You know, Akon, matter of fact, bringing his name up, he brought up a point. He was like, listen, if you want to start a business, say if you want to start an ice cream truck, it'll work in Africa. Say if you want to open a sports agency, it'll work in Africa. Say you want to open a painting company, it'll work in Africa. You want to do real estate? It'll work in Africa. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a mentality that we're sitting here that we have to unlearn for us to not be all on board to just say, you know what? This system made for us. Hey, y'all, let's build our own shit because it can't be done.
Not only do we need a new system, we need a new way to
we need a new program, bro.
Because that's part of it.
That's where it starts.
That's part of it because we don't support black businesses because we don't trust each other.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why white folks were hired to do Juneteenth media.
Oh, Lord.
Okay? When there's black businesses that can't be doing the biggest media project for black folks in Denver. But we got white folks.
Yeah, I did earlier.
And who was filming you? Some white folks?
No, this black lady from Britain.
Yeah, some white folks.
What?
Oh, from Britain.
Yeah, her name was Cheryl. She's from Britain.
She's a white media company running
for the white media.
Yeah, that's right. She pandered you. She was a provocateur. She was put in place there to go in. And
that's crazy. I never knew that agent provocateurs were a real thing. I did not know those were a real thing.
Yeah, man.
The government sends in actual people into riots to just incite shit.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
So if you got to think about it, you always think about America too, right? So if you think about it like a war, right, and these are your war tactics, you're gonna use them. Whether it's psychological, you know what I'm saying, or it's chemical warfare, you're gonna use them to continue your fight. So it's not a surprise. I'm not fooled by the pandering. I really believe we really need to be really fully wholehearted when we're talking about us. I think that's one thing that we're not doing. We're asking white folks to be wholehearted, but we're not even putting the pressure on ourselves to be wholehearted when we're really fighting for us. For example, holding the Juneteenth and hiring white folks to film it. So that wholehearted.
Oh, God damn.
Wholehearted.
Let it go.
No, that's just a perfect example. It's just a current example. That's all I'm saying. It's just a current example that's fresh and it's true, right? So, but what I'm saying, wholeheartedly, if you are for us, bias, it shouldn't be no other question. It shouldn't be, what are we going to eat? McDonald's? No, it should be, we're going to Buddha's barbecue.
And the thing is,
no problem, no question
I think
at all.
Part of this conversation, and it has everything to do with sports, is you know, we need to change everything.
Or start our own league.
Start our own, you know what I'm saying? And
can an NBA league start ran by black folks?
Oh, God.
Can the NBA, if they took all their black stars?
It's not happening.
Oh my God!
Okay, let me
we don't trust each other, bro.
No,
we
it's not that. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's not that at all.
Got white wives anyway.
It's not that at all. It's not. I think. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
What another truth? They do got all white wives right now.
They gotta get divorced.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about basketball, especially. In terms of, it's just. Like, if we have an all-black basketball league with everybody that's black, right? I mean, like, we're just too athletic. Like, we're just too athletic. And that makes it not as interesting. It's funny to me to see a white dude out there, overachieving. Like, it's hilarious to see a Larry Bird that, you know what I mean? Or some dude out there who knows they shouldn't be out there, but he's out there anyway, you know what I mean?
I get it.
Like we want to see a Luka.
But that doesn't. And that's what you guys are
like in an all-black NBA league. I'm just saying.
Are you hearing this?
You want to see players like Dirk Nowitzki.
Are you hearing this?
You want to see players?
Are y'all hearing this?
Players like that.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm just being honest.
You gotta remember you're 20.
I'm just being honest, right?
That don't mean nothing. We have the same one over here.
He said Larry Bird.
Okay.
But you want to see players like Larry Bird.
Who gives a fuck? That's the point.
That's a.
We got KD. We got LeBron.
Let me ask you.
Are you serious? Are you serious? We have Iversons and you're worried about a Stockton?
Let me ask you a
fucking serious.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Hey, stop to hold on.
Let me ask you a question. When March Madness is out, right? When March Madness is out, right? When it was about to be March Madness, would you rather watch the ACC tournament or the SWAC tournament?
First of all, the NIAA with all them niggas that be them
The SWAC. The SWAC. So
Southern.
So Southern and Grambling and.
Wait, no. Okay, but you're saying void of all the top talent. We're saying
I'm saying the top black talent from those schools.
But he's saying that the top talents that would be in that ACC tournament would be in that SWAC.
Right.
We started our own shit.
So we like fuck that ACC.
We started our own shit. But I'm just talking about right now.
Bro, do you want to see Bob Cousy running around?
I'm asking the question. Hold on.
No, nigga.
No. Do you want to see North Carolina Duke or do you want to see Southern Grambling?
I want to see Southern Grambling. I want to see for us. Brody, with the talent?
I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Why is it now? Why is it now? Because the systematic oppression is the way it is now.
What's a better product?
That's why.
Is North Carolina Duke a better product than Grambling?
Why is it, Jason? Why is Duke better than Grambling right now? Because we're in fucking America. Okay?
Money.
Money, right?
All of that.
Facilities, a lot of shit.
We're about to go to break, man. Listen,
I'm
y'all.
telling you, man.
We come
I
back
want
to
to
break.
see Duke, North Carolina.
Listen.
Fuck them niggas back in Southern.
I asked
and
Dude if
Grambling.
we want to see an all but NBA basketball league ran by us
It'll be an oop every
for the
touchdown.
world. Wait, for the world, but ran by us. And this nigga gonna say, I want to see motherfucking John
I didn't
Havlicek.
say that. I didn't
Nigga,
say that.
I want to see.
I didn't say that at all.
I'd rather see Havlicek fucking get the fuck out
I
of here,
just said
man.
sometimes when we take over games,
Sports entertainment.
I just sometimes when we take over games,
Or
it's
us
just
biased.
it turns over athletic. It's just ultra athletic. It's a oop every time. It's like this oop. It's a oop every time. Every time down, it's a oop. Like I don't want to see that shit. Like I get it. You're
Listen,
athletic.
Listen,
Good job.
I don't know what to say. I can't even get to them. Where are these damn comments, man? Y'all are outrageous out there. What do y'all got to say? Let's see these comments, man, talking this shit. Here we go. Programming gives a fuck about a white player in a black league. True. And all we need is marketing. Hire our network, nigga. Shit. But that's what I'm saying.
I think it would take some years for a black or all black NBA like league.
And then we had all black NBA. It was called the ABA.
Oh yes.
Shit.
And that motherfucker was popping.
Lit.
So cut the shit. That motherfucker was popping. And the NBA had to buy him out.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So come on, y'all.
It was lit.
We finna take a break, man. We be back after this break, man, and continue these convos, man. Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. Just because it's our network,
Yeah.
I drink Don Julio on our network. That was a quick commercial. All right, my man. What we doing, man? Would you like some? We're sponsored by tequila. Can't say the name of the brand yet because they haven't signed the paperwork. We have a conversation here, though, that we have by... excuse us then, brother. You might have to take your conversation this way, man, because we can hear everything, man. We talk about black folks.
I'm definitely on board for whatever changes we can make because we've been having less and less kids. So.
All right, we back here. Check this out, y'all. If y'all think that we should start our own, if y'all agree with Kyrie Irving was actually the one who actually sparked that conversation and sparked. Listen, we're back. So check this out. We left in a discussion on seeing if it is possible or if it is worth actually starting an all-black basketball league, professional league, with all the stars, right? But you know what? I'm gonna actually can you close that door behind your brother. So check this out. I got a question for y'all. Let me pull this up though. But Hez, you see my point though in saying that if we could do a black NBA, we could do an actual all black society.
See, y'all didn't let me finish my point. Do y'all really enjoy watching all black sports?
I mean, as of right now, to your point, Jason, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. I hate it. Unless it's like live and you can go see the band, the play is not up to par. I would sort of say. Now, to your point, Tux, if we were to start an all-black league, or if all of our leagues were to have elite talent, I think I'd be more inclined to watch that if KD was with KD, Stephen Curry, or KD or.
Wait, first of all, why are you making it like a fucking decision?
Right, that's what I'm.
You know damn well you would watch that.
Because I don't know.
If we take let's just say this. If we take the black stars, top tier talent only first, okay?
Okay.
And we leave the other talent to them, okay? All right? You're telling me that you're going to consider.
Right.
One's on Channel 4 and one's on Bounce TV, right?
Think about it.
Right? The white folks on right? Okay?
That's dumb.
You're watching Bounce, bro, right?
That shit is stupid.
Yeah, think about it.
No, but we have an all-black network, so an all-black league, bro.
Right. It was the same thing with the XFL, though. It was the same thing with the XFL. Right? People were like,
No.
come on now.
XFL was ran by white folks. It was ran by WWE.
But
if this was ran by Robert F. Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
LeBron and all of them folks, Jordan and all them niggas and all that shit, and we came together and ran out. Come on, why is this even a fucking conversation?
I pointed out the XFL because
I want to point out, let's go to HBCU basketball anyway. All black. And like I said, I would prefer to watch North Carolina Duke than these niggas don't lose every year.
Why is that, bro?
Because I know we're just too athletic and it's just gonna be
oh my God,
us dunking over each other.
We do not agree with the views. That has got to be the most bigoted fucking shit to say.
That is racist as fuck.
Old fucking
That's
people.
racist as fuck. It is. But that's what. Okay, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yes.
Do we have?
Yes.
No, we don't. No.
Yes.
No.
You're
that's
wrong, bro.
No,
you're wrong. Because you were about to just say, I don't even gonna let you say it. You was going down La Network.
I wasn't gonna
I
say
am
that.
not gonna sit there and let him just go down that road. Because I know
This
where
is
he's
my
going.
opinion. I'm asking
No,
you.
I'm
asking you.
No.
I'm asking you. We have examples of all black, this and that, and the ratings aren't there because niggas would rather watch North Carolina.
Why is that? The talent pool is low, the quality is low, the
low?
living conditions is low,
Where?
the working conditions is lower. Is Gramblin's working conditions like Duke?
hell no.
No.
They get paid that dude.
Come on, dude.
They get paid.
If I'm a black athlete, look, I can fucking say I'm gonna go to a HBCU and say, hold on, man.
That's not what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Listen. if I'm a
hate
top
what you're
notch,
saying.
if I'm a top notch black athlete, and I'm like, where am I gonna go to school? And I'm kicking around all these things, I'm mulling all this shit over, and I'm saying, well, I got every college in the country looking at me. I got North Carolina and Duke with these facilities, right? Then I got North Carolina A&T right here with these facilities. You see, this bottle's empty.
I'm glad you're right there.
This bottle is full.
I think when it comes to that, it comes to the marketing of.
That's not the marketing.
Wait,
It's not the market, it's what's on those campuses.
Everybody knows Duke, but a lot of the HBCUs, a lot of people don't know about.
Wait, hold on. When's the last time you seen? When the fucking last time you seen Southern playing somebody in hoop?
Not everybody knows about.
When the last time you seen the HBCU on network television playing hoop? Basketball.
I haven't even got my point yet. Hold on. So when it comes to ratings, I mean, even obviously Duke has more ratings than HBCU because it's a big name. Everybody knows what Duke is. So when it comes down to NBA
because
players,
the ACC has a multi-million-dollar deal with ESPN, and the historically black colleges have,
because they have all the best black players. That's why. Jason,
well, I just think that if we're gonna
you.
move the NBA players to their own league, they have enough marketing for their own names. You see what I'm saying? They're the reason why the NBA is running because of their name. So when they're put into their own league, now you're putting the whole name out there, and everybody knows.
Hold on.
That's like putting.
There's a point that was made yesterday that I think was huge. Check this out. Here I'm going with this, because I thought this was a huge point made by Elijah yesterday, and I think it pertains, right? Yeah. With teachers, right? Right? No, with athletes, with LeBron James and sports stars be just as revered if they were paid like teachers. No. Exactly. So if Duke had a salary that was the same salary as Grambling or the same situation, it would be different.
But Duke doesn't have a salary. Grambling doesn't have a salary.
Right. So we got to create our own.
Well, then
and create value within our own.
So when you talk about create our own and make these HBCUs
create value within our own.
Well, how come? The value's there. We have some athletic people that go to Grambling, that go to Howard. We have some people that
I'm changing this conversation.
No, hold on. Let me ask you this though. How come since we have these athletes?
I'm not even finished.
I just want to know. I mean, you gave us your little spiel, so let me just ask you this.
It's so easy.
Let me ask you this: if these HBCUs,
right? Yes.
How come Nike is not doing more?
I'll tell you why.
Because of slavery?
No, I'll tell you. Let me tell you why. Okay? Because there's such thing as called scouts, right? And there's such thing as called scouts and agents and all these people, right? And what they do is they rank the 100 top players in the fucking world, right? Yeah. 89 of them are black, right? 89 of them go to D1 schools, okay? Most of the top talent, right, go to all these white establishments, okay? Leaving the rest of the Negroes, who are not top 100 players, right? Who play probably as good as Hez. Hez was one of those players.
I was good.
Okay?
I was decent.
Hez was one of those players. Okay?
I'm not part of
like, come on, man, they're not even the top 100 players in the world that's playing for these HBCUs, bruh. Come on, my dude. And they don't get the expo. But anyways, let's change the situation. Change the question. Cause y'all make me sick with this shit.
I mean, it's just the truth, bro.
No, because you want to see fucking Stockton. All right, so check it. So it's because you want some
quality basketball. I want to see some
quality, man. I knew it. I knew that's where you were rooted. I swear to God. I swear to fucking. That's why I didn't want this to go. I swear to God, I knew he was gonna say that.
I want to see some fundamentals.
I knew he was gonna say this shit.
A bunch of niggas jumping over each other. It's not my idea.
I know it. That's why I wanted to change before that shit went there. I swear to God.
I'm just saying.
I've been knowing him too long. I knew it was bottled up. I knew it was bottled up. I knew it. He was going to try to say that we don't have fundamentally sound black basketball players.
I want to see some fundamentals. All we going to do is have niggas niggas throwing hoops from half court and shooting threes. Like, that's the league. From downtown bang and dunk. That's it. Like, that's what we teach we don't teach.
That is so stupid.
I mean, am I lying?
This is the reason. I swear, this is the reason why we can't build a black utopia. I
Who
swear
has
to God.
watched the HBCU basketball
We
game?
cannot build a black utopia.
I was just there.
because of guys like him. Okay.
I was just at the Battle of the Bands last year.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at the Bayou Classic, and I guarantee
Just saying, we can't have one of those just for us, nationally big.
that was just for us.
No, I mean big.
That was
big, big.
It is big.
No, big.
But
Could,
It's not
no,
big,
big.
Let me ask you this.
Like big for the Super Bowl.
Okay,
You
yeah.
don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't work.
Who we gonna play?
Yeah, it has to be quality.
Other niggas.
It has to be quality.
Like they do now?
Other niggas.
Like
For a
they do now?
Negro league.
Like they do
A
now?
Negro league,
Like they do
Jason.
now?
league.
And let me tell you, Southern or Grambling would lose by 7 to Kansas, nigga. Like
Why? 'Cause they got
University
white
of
coach.
Kansas.
Like they got a white
There's
coach.
just too many niggas, and they don't play the same kind of ball.
I can't do
Ball's
this.
different.
I swear to God, I can't do this. I swear to God, I can't do this. I got a question. I got a question for y'all.
Well, we coach.
I got a question.
Hold
for
on, let me
y'all.
finish.
No,
I need to make my
No,
point before
no.
y'all start calling me a racist.
no.
And y'all know this to be a fact.
No, it's not.
Hold on.
That's the problem,
Listen
y'all.
to what I'm saying.
We're programmed to believe that
listen
this
to
is
what I'm
fucking
saying.
fact.
Listen to what I'm saying.
It's the
How
game.
many of
we
y'all?
did advance dribbling.
How many of y'all have went to your sons?
Because you cross over
Hold on,
somebody,
man.
they want to say that's not fundamental.
How many
Because
of y'all?
they can't do it.
How many of y'all have went to your sons
Get the
or
fuck out
daughters?
of here.
Your sons or daughters?
No, wait a minute.
Little league game.
You can't do it now because you can do 360. Now that's not fucking fundamental because you can't do it.
That's the only thing you can do.
Oh my God, I swear to God, this nigga's all
I'm just saying. If I'm just dunking the ball, I mean, I guess
He's not the. Who's the best 3-point shooter in the league? Who?
What?
Ready?
Who's the best mid-range shooter in the? This nigga said ready. All right, we
Best
go to.
three-point
All right,
shooter?
we're going to a different.
Who's the
subject.
best point shooter in the
I'm
league?
not going there.
I mean, I'm asking.
Pick your starting 5 without these players. Okay.
This is a good one for Jason.
Pick these starting 5. He's gonna pick all white
I'll
teams
pick
like
a non-
Indiana
I'll pick a
Hoosiers.
non-white
Right? He's
team.
gonna pick like fucking Bob Knights.
Come on.
Fucking Hoosiers.
Tony Kukoc.
Kukoc is Italian.
He's white.
All right, so check.
White power.
Pick a point guard to start for your team without using Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Oscar Robinson, or Stephen Curry.
Wait, Magic Johnson.
You can't use him.
Can't use them.
No, I'm saying Magic Johnson.
John Stockton.
Can't use Oscar Robinson either.
Can't use Oscar Robinson or Stephen Curry.
I'm gonna go.
Stephon. Oh.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna sign this dude and hope he stays off of cocaine. I'm gonna go Michael Ray Richardson.
Okay. Who'd y'all go?
I'll go AI.
You still Googling?
I was gonna say AI, but after I thought about it,
Ooh, I didn't say AI.
Gary Payton, the glove. Glove.
I say AI. I say AI.
Do it.
There's AI. There's Gary Payton. Jason Kidd.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
There's Anthony Hardaway.
Oh man, that's a good one.
I think I would.
Where'd they go to college? Why don't these niggas go to college? Nigga schools.
Jason, we already know why.
I'm just asking.
Systematic oppression. It's the same
It's
shit.
not oppression. How is it oppression? Because
If they
how is they being oppressed? If they
exalted,
don't go to an HBCU.
if they exalted TSU or Tennessee State or some shit like that, just like they exalted Duke, we'd have all black
What do you mean
stars up there.
exalt?
We're talking about put them at the top, the biggest, the highest,
They paid him the way?
the highest.
They paid him?
Or if they treated them like Duke, there'd be Zion would have went to motherfucking Grambling.
Duke plays in the ACC.
Zion would have went to Grambling, bro.
I don't think so.
If they treated him like Duke, yes.
Nope.
Why are we on this?
I don't think so.
Allen Iverson or Penny
I get that.
out of me,
I get that.
or Peyton Kidd.
I'll take my back. I'll take AI.
I think I'll take AI too.
Okay.
All right, shooting guard with
Can't use MJ.
shooting guard without MJ,
Now Kobe Bryant.
without Kobe.
Without who else?
Hold on, without Kobe, without Dwayne Wade, without Clyde Drexler.
Oh, that's easy for me. I'll go Reggie Miller.
Any small forward though, he played.
Shooting guard. And where did he go to college? UCLA.
Yeah, more
Kept his ass out of the-
more crackers. But
That's out of nigga school, didn't he?
Reggie Miller actually, nah.
Reggie Miller's sister could probably be a lot of.
At 2?
Yeah, too, nigga.
I do James
Shooting
Harden,
guard.
maybe.
Who?
James Harden.
That's a good pick.
It's not.
That is a good pick. James Harden's a good
Where do
pick.
you go to school at?
Arizona State, baby.
Who's your guard?
Who I got? MI2 Klay Thompson.
Where do you go to school?
No Ray Allen?
Washington State.
Yeah, exactly.
No Ray Allen?
Why I gotta pick the nigga? I don't
T-Mac. I got Iverson and Tracy McGrady. I'm already beating
That's
that.
crazy because I was
I'm
thinking.
already beating that guard.
Hey, chill, because I was thinking about.
Let's keep it going. I'm already winning the game.
Gary
You would have the same line
Gary
right
Payton.
now. Just tell me.
Gary Payton's not holding Iverson, bro.
Deep defensively?
He's not holding Iverson.
He held Jordan? Did he not?
He's not holding
He held
Iverson.
Jordan?
He didn't hold Jordan. Holding Jordan back then was holding him to 28.
26, right? I'm thinking when he played in the finals.
Where did Michael Jordan go to school?
First of all, it doesn't matter. Gary Payton's not holding Iverson.
Yes, he is.
I just want to know how come some
Gary
of the
Payton
stars,
is not holding Iverson.
He doesn't want me to talk now because
Is Gary Payton holding Iverson?
That's
Don't make it seem like the nigga just gonna. I just gonna get a nigga Gary Payton to smooth 28, 30.
He is.
No, yes, he is, bro.
He is.
Y'all better quit. You need to do your history on AI.
Defensively.
Listen, AI could arguably be the best two guard just because pound for pound.
Defensively, Gary Payton's not one of the best defensive guards.
No, matter of fact, he could arguably be the best player.
AI's in the top 5. Period.
AI
pound for pound, bro.
And yeah.
AI is in what top 5?
Hey, and where did AI go to school at?
But what top 5? Georgetown.
Okay,
what top 5
let
is he
me
in?
let me ask you this. Georgetown is as white as they come.
Yeah.
And AI is from the hood in Virginia.
Some niggas.
Why did he take his ass to Hampton Institute?
Why do you think so? You're outrageous.
I'm sad.
You're outrageous. You know why? Hold on.
Why did he take his nigga ass to
You're
Hampton
not gonna
Institute?
act like Georgetown was.
What?
I'm not gonna sit here and act like.
I'm not gonna
do it because what he's doing is playing with y'all. One thing that he's not telling you. At the time, Georgetown was black. Georgetown was niggas.
Basketball team.
Hold on, Georgetown
Basketball
niggas.
team.
Not only that was they niggas. And I'm talking about black folks. Georgetown was niggas. Okay. And when I'm talking about, hold on, let me tell you something. Every nigga in the hood was wearing Georgetown gear. Who was gangsters was wearing Georgetown gear. Okay. Nigga shit.
Was the school white?
Nigga shit.
Was the school white?
What I'm saying is,
Was the school white?
if it was all black,
Was them 10
ain't nothing
niggas that
popping like
played
that.
at Georgetown for the team?
And if they were playing, if those niggas
Yes.
went to HBCU, we wouldn't be talking about Georgetown.
That's my point,
That's my point.
That-
All right.
Why aren't they going to
Small forward.
Why aren't they going to HBCUs?
Because they're not treated like Duke. Systematic
Because they
oppression.
don't want to learn nigga ball.
Systematic
They need to play
oppression.
regular basketball to get in the NBA. Not just dunking on each other, nigga.
You see this shit? Don't follow that shit.
Hey,
Believe in us. We can build our own community, man.
we can.
No, I know.
Not with you.
We can.
Okay? You're going to be sneaking in left and right, little John Stockton's left and right. Just because you want to see him dance or some shit. Come on, Skip. I just got to see you move, man. I'm tired of seeing these niggas jig.
Just keep dunking on each
Doing
other.
a Tootsie Roll. I'm trying to see
Three-pointer.
these niggas twerking.
Three-pointer alley-oop. Three-pointer alley-oop.
I'm trying to see the shuffle foot.
I'm trying to see some offense get ran.
Small forward.
It'd be
Not LeBron James, not Kevin Durant, not Dr. J, and not Bird.
Yeah, I get that. I get it. But it'd be a nigga that didn't go to a HBCU. I can tell you that.
Scottie Pippen.
Central Arkansas.
Kicked you in the nuts.
Yeah, that hurt. And I'll go Scottie Pippen right there, right in my balls. I'll take Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Come on,
Why didn't he go to a Power 5 conference? Because he wasn't as good.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't good until he got to be a senior.
Oh, I have to say.
That's exactly it, Jason.
But,
Right?
well, I don't
Exactly
know.
the point,
I think if he would have went to
Giannis is a small forward.
Yeah, I need to
Giannis.
look it up.
Giannis.
Can I go now?
Yeah,
I'm
Giannis.
gonna go with Tim Duncan.
He's power.
Oh, not okay. Small
Tim
forward.
Duncan, small
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
What?
I'm checking.
Y'all ain't even paying
My
attention.
bad. My bad. Damn. Ray Allen's a 3, isn't he?
Two.
He can play the 3 though.
He's a
He
two.
could play the 2, 3.
He's a two. Reggie Miller played 2, 3.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the same thing though. So I'll pick Ray Allen. Pick Ray Allen.
I mean, if you're doing, you lost already, but that's fine. You sure? I'm giving you a chance to fix that.
How?
I don't understand how you.
Here, I'll give you time to go back to Google.
Go ahead. Y'all
Yeah,
can do that.
who you
I don't
I said
understand.
Giannis.
Giannis,
Yeah.
is he labeled as a 3?
There's no way that he's labeled as a 3.
He's a fucking point guard.
And
What's he labeled though?
As a center. He's a center.
No, he's not labeled
As a power forward.
I thought he was labeled as
No,
a small forward.
let me see what he's labeled.
Man.
Because I would consider Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I would consider Giannis because honestly, that's a hard cover. I was just telling him if Giannis did go to Golden State, that's hard.
If Giannis would have went to college, where
So
would
he hasn't played small forward in the past 2 seasons.
That's not the point. What is he listed as?
His position is small forward, so it's
So if he's listed as a small forward.
He's looking right here. Giannis is a power forward, considered a power forward center.
I said Giannis
Right here.
Where was Giannis gonna go to college at?
He didn't. I don't.
He
Somewhere.
wouldn't have went to HBCU, that's for sure.
You hear this guy?
I'm just saying,
Fucking
man.
outrageous. That is the point. You're only accentuating my point.
Position forward.
Right?
Position forward.
He said as listed as things stand, Antetokounmpo's position is listed as power forward and point guard.
Look, where's this at, bro? Behind the buck pad.
That's the same thing that you're doing.
No, bro, this is.
So what are we determining, y'all? Come on now.
He's a small forward. You see
There's
him
no way. Okay, then if he's a small forward,
Okay.
then Ray Allen, Reggie Miller can be 2s and 3s. If that's the
You're
case,
still
then
gonna
no.
lose.
When I look up Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Let me tell you why you're gonna lose. Because I'll pick Giannis 2 at 3.
Thank you.
Okay?
How y'all gonna pick all these 3s?
I'm killing you right now.
But our question
I'm
is,
killing all y'all.
how is it?
don't know,
How is
bro.
it? How
How
y'all
are you?
all have the same team?
Iverson,
Y'all
Reggie
don't
Miller.
make the game
You
fun. and
lost
every
at
nigga
Reggie,
has
bro.
the
How'd
same
you lose
point
at
guard.
Reggie?
You lost at Reggie, bro.
We all got to.
You lost
How you lose to Reggie Miller?
It don't make
That's
sense.
Tracy
Because
McGrady.
you don't
No,
see
he's not a better
better if
shooter
you all
than
have the
Reggie
same
Miller.
point guard.
He's not.
He is, first
He's
of all,
not a better shooter.
he's
not
a
the same
better
person.
player by
He's not-
far.
no, he's- by what?
By far.
Oh, get him a rest.
Tracy McGrady is a better player by
Why?
far.
Did he go to? He didn't go to
By
college.
far.
Did he go to a white man's school?
By far.
That why? He's not a better player by far. Cut it.
By far.
Cut it out.
Then who?
Reggie Miller averaged
Reggie Miller.
30. Reggie Miller.
Go ahead, Tracy
32.
McGrady. Go ahead, put it side by side, please, Hez. While we're doing that, let's pull up
Tracy
points.
McGrady. Reggie
Power
Miller averaged 30.
forward.
Okay.
Reggie
But-
Miller averaged 30 in the NBA for a season.
Tracy McGrady. Okay.
No,
We'll
he
see.
didn't. No, he didn't.
We'll see.
No, he didn't.
We'll see.
Reggie Miller
Side
did,
by side, please.
and Reggie Miller went to white man's college.
Side by side, please.
UCLA.
Power forward, though. Not Duncan, not Malone, not Dirk, not Barkley. That's a tough one, too.
Oh,
I think I got mine, though.
Power forward, not who?
Not Duncan, Malone, Dirk, or Barkley.
Anthony Davis. I just want to say that.
I'll take Kevin McHale.
I'll be killing you on this.
Okay, I
I said
have.
Kevin Garnett. Is that
Yeah,
what-
because I'm going to pick Garnett,
I was going
too.
to Kevin
I'm with
Garnett.
Garnett, too.
So I have the stats
I'm
put
with
up.
a Garnett, too.
I'll take Kevin
I think me
McHale.
and you are in the championship, bro.
I'll take Kevin McHale, who nobody
You
can
niggas have
guard.
the same team,
Can
bro.
anybody guard Kevin McHale?
There's a couple differences.
Can anybody guard Kevin McHale?
AI, and then I got James
Can
Harden.
anybody guard Kevin
Giannis.
McHale?
Yeah, okay, yeah, McGrady will get you.
Can anybody guard Kevin McHale?
I got you over Harden.
Can anybody guard Kevin McHale?
Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Garnett. And
Can guard
Durant.
Kevin McHale?
So
Kevin Garnett, I think so.
to y'all's Tracy McGrady, Reggie Miller conversation. All-Star game, Tracy McGrady has 7, Reggie Miller has 5. All NBA teams, Tracy McGrady has 2, Reggie Miller has 0. All NBA teams, that's all NBA first teams. All NBA teams just in general, Tracy McGrady has 7, Reggie Miller has 3. Scoring leader titles, Tracy McGrady has 2. No, scoring leaders, 2, Reggie Miller has 0. Points per game, 19.6 to 18.2. Tracy McGrady has 19.6, Reggie Miller has 18.2. Rebounds, Tracy McGrady 5.6, Reggie Miller 3.0. Assists per game, Tracy McGrady 4.4, Reggie Miller 3.0. Steals per game 1.2, Reggie Miller's 1.1.
1.
Blocks per game 0.9,
And
0.2. But here's where things get a little weird. Total points 18,381. Tracy McGrady. Reggie Miller has 25,279.
What's the years? And the games.
Well,
Let's do games.
Reggie Miller played.
do games.
18 more. Played 2 more season
No, do games.
games like played.
Games played.
Okay. These are all scoring stats and like defensive stats.
Yeah,
so.
just Google. You got time. Google games played. That changes. That'll set the tone there.
Games played.
That'll set the tone there.
I mean,
Tracy McGrady, AI, Tracy McGrady, Giannis, and Kevin Garnett so far.
But Reggie,
And you know who I'm putting at center? I'm putting Elijah on, and I'm whooping all y'all's ass.
Reggie Miller's gonna have more games played.
Now, what is the center?
No, say it again.
Reggie Miller's gonna have more games played because he played two full seasons.
But watch how many. So also center, Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, or Russell.
Easy.
I mean, there's David Robinson, there's Ewing.
I can use Bill Russell.
Shrimp. No, Russell, you can't use Russell. Can't use Kareem, can't use Wilt, can't use Shaq. I'm still killing y'all with Elijah on, bro.
Ooh, I actually want to change one of mine.
I'm probably gonna say.
I do want to change one of mine. I think it's in my 2. Who do I have in my 2? Klay Thompson.
Even
I
though
want to
Elijah
change it to Grant Hill.
Get that nigga killed.
I'm gonna go with Bill Walton.
How? Wait, how?
All right,
Who?
Listen, y'all. You know what? This has been a wonderful fucking episode of Game Point. I'm so dead serious. This has been such a wonderful situation on Game Point, but we're not getting anywhere here. Love y'all. Tune in, ournetwork.com. Stay tuned. What's running after here? Anything? The issues.
North Carolina
Duke. Minutes.
That's what's gonna run. None of you niggas want to see Hampton in the motherfucking
Hey y'all.
Arkansas Valley.
We gonna get it popping. Hey y'all, let's strive to do us, by us,
I got a question.
Let's fight for segregation. I'm with that. Let's fight for our own community.
Fight the power.
Let's fight for our own NBA. You know what I'm saying? Let's do all of that. You know what? Bottom of that, let's start learning how to trust each other and love each other. That's real shit.
Let's learn how to play fundamental basketball where we're not just alley-ooping.
This is the lack of programming, lack of love for our black community, and programming and conditioning, and I trust our black community and believe that just because we cross over one of these crackers is not fundamental. That's bullshit. We out of here, our network, on our sports, Game Point, on our sports.
And that's it.
Moms Mabley. The woman who would become known as famed comedian Moms Mabley was born Loretta Mary Aiken in Brevard, North Carolina on March 19, 1894. She experienced a horrifying traumatic childhood. Her firefighter father was killed in an explosion when she was 11, and her mother was later hit and killed by a truck on Christmas Day. Aiken left home at the age of 14 and pursued a show business career, joining the African American vaudeville circuit as a comedian under the Theater Owners Booking Association. Fellow performer Jack Mabley became her boyfriend for a short time, and she took on his name, becoming Jackie Mabley, with Moms coming from her eventual reputation as a mentoring, mothering spirit. By the early 1920s, she had begun to work with the duo Butterbeans and Susie, and eventually became an attraction at the Cotton Club. Mabley entered the world of film and stage as well, working with the writer Zora Neale Hurston. Starting in the late 1930s, Mabley became the first woman comedian to be featured at the Apollo, going on to appear on the theater stage more times than any other performer. Mabley's stand-up routines were riotous affairs, augmented by the aesthetic she presented as being an older, house-dress-clad figure who provided sly commentary on racial bigotry to African American audiences. Mabley began a recording career with her Chess Records debut album, The Funniest Woman Alive, which became gold certified. She landed spots on some of the top variety shows of the day, including The Ed Sullivan Show, and graced the stage of Carnegie Hall. Mabley had a starring role in the 1974 picture Amazing Grace, which she was able to complete despite having a heart attack during the film. She died on May 23, 1975 in White Plains, New York.